Starting to check in with the shape of your spine, noticing the shape of your shoulders and just the shape that your skeleton is in right now. And feeling that connection between the back of your throat and the pelvic floor. Feeling that connection between your hips and your shoulders. And just feel that everything is starting to come into a stacked position. So the crown of your head is actively reaching away from your seat or from the soles of your feet if you are stretched out. And if you're in a space where you feel safe to do so, at any point you can allow the eyes to gently close. And just starting this practice and marking your arrival to this practice with a full and deep cleansing breath. So taking a long, slow inhale in through the nose, slowly filling yourself up and just taking a few more sips of air to just really, really fill up. And just pause for a moment, just noticing what that's like. And as you need to, slowly letting it go. Bit by bit, decompressing. And same thing on the exhale, pushing a little bit more air out of you to just truly empty yourself. And pause for a moment in that emptiness and notice what that's like. And allow the next breath to come as needed. So you can breathe just like that, maybe one or two more times if that feels really good. Just exaggerating the inhale, exaggerating the pause at the top of the inhale, exaggerating the exhale, and the pause at the bottom of the exhale. So just start to slow down your nervous system. And whenever you are feeling ready, you can release the guidance over your breath and allow it to return to its natural state. And feeling yourself stepping back and sort of up in the mind and into that role of the observer or the witness. The one who is just witnessing the fact that your body is breathing rather than guiding or controlling the pattern of your breath. And know that sometimes this feels really straightforward and is simple, and other times this feels really complicated and almost impossible. So it is perfectly okay, whatever way you are feeling right now in this moment. But just starting to notice how your facial expressions are responding to this practice so far. Noticing how the forehead and the eyes and the jaw, the nose and the ears are all reacting. Maybe the forehead is slightly scrunched, maybe the brow is furrowed, maybe the jaw is tight. And that is perfectly okay. And just by noticing those areas of tightness or resistance, that is exactly what allows you to then soften and release. So just by noticing if there's any scrunching in the forehead, that gives you the power to expand, to release, to lean in to this practice and this stillness. So just allowing the forehead to exist at its full width and depth. Feeling the eyes slightly expanding and widening just by softening all these muscles across the lash line. And if it helps, you can even scrunch up your face so you make like the smallest face possible. And bring your mouth up, your nose, your eyes, and then do the complete opposite of that right after. So feeling that difference between when you are tight everywhere and then when you are relaxed everywhere. Sometimes that can be really helpful for getting those last little bits of tension out. And just feeling that contrast. And just allowing for any expression that's on the face to melt away with the tension that's melting away. So just letting the jaw hang into place, trusting your anatomy, trusting that your bones and muscles will rest exactly where they're needed, and there's no need for you to hold anything in a particular way or hold anything up. And with the release of the jaw, you can also feel the chin and the lips softening. You can feel the nostrils and the cheeks and even the ears beginning to relax a bit more. And just feeling the full distance of your hairline, of your scalp, and just allow this same sense of release and acceptance to spread to your entire skull and naturally trickle down the neck, trickling down and across the collarbones and shoulders as you feel the collarbones broadening and the shoulders dropping down and away from the ears. So you allow for the full length of your neck to exist. And just tracing that space between your heart and your brain. And just feeling that channel start to clear up with that straight neck, the back of your neck nice and straight. So you can feel the space from the heart up through the throat, up into the skull, into the brain stem, and into the brain itself. And just allow your brain to be fed by your heart. And allowing for the full weight of your arms to exist, and just letting all the muscles relax here. Allowing for the natural curve of your fingers, softening the hands. And then feeling that space between your heart and your hands. And just tracing that anatomy and all the veins and vessels that connect your heart physically into your hands. So feeling the heart connecting to your brain and the heart connecting to your hands. And then naturally just letting this softness continue down the body. So feeling the rest of the chest relax and the rib cage just resting on the lungs, almost like they're hugging the lungs, protecting the lungs. And each time the body breathes in, feeling that hug just get a tiny bit tighter. And letting the stomach completely relax and all the muscles in the stomach just resting against the organs, protecting the organs. And feeling that soft strength that exists in your stomach. And how strong the muscles have to be here to keep everything inside safe. Softening the hips and just letting the legs rest where they are, softening the glutes, the pelvic floor, relaxing the upper thighs, the lower thighs, the knees, the shins and the calves, and the feet and the toes. And now feeling that connection between your heart and your feet. And just tracing that space in between the heart and the feet. Knowing that there is a physical connection there. All blood comes from your heart, and there is blood running through your feet and your toes. So just bringing awareness to the miracle of the reality of your body and the way that it works. How your heart is always beating for you every moment of your life. It has been and will continue to do so for every moment that you are alive. This heart is a pure gift to you. And it is constantly reminding you of that gift by the blood that it is pumping into your brain, into your fingers, into your feet, and all those areas in between. And just feeling that pure love. It's nothing but love that could do this for you. This is life. The life that is pumping through your body. And knowing that we do often forget that this is a gift and that this is a miracle and a beautiful, beautiful gift to us. And it is okay. We are not meant to always remember our blessings. It's just about reminding ourselves of our blessings as often as we can. And just having those moments throughout your day to pause and to just check back in and remember how lucky you are to have a body that is working. And even if there are some physical health issues with your body, it's still keeping you alive. If you have the ability to hear the words that I am saying, your body is doing great. And just taking the time to check into what is present within the body. And even when we know and are aware of these blessings, that doesn't erase pain and suffering. And it shouldn't erase pain and suffering, because these are necessary things that we must feel in life. And when we talk about acceptance, acceptance does not mean that you are okay with what's happened to you. It does not mean that you approve of it or that you like what is happening to your body or to your life or whatever it means to you. It just means that you are acknowledging what is, acknowledging the truth that is presenting itself. So when there is sorrow and pain within the body, a lot of times we can say like, I accept it, I move on, I release it, and things like that, without fully feeling what's there. We think that we can acknowledge it and then move on. But we still have to go through the feelings. And sometimes it's helpful for me to think about feelings as being kind of like a train station inside of you. And the only way that a feeling can get through and exit your body is by being felt. So if there's a bunch of feelings in there that aren't being felt, it's kind of like they're not getting their ticket scanned and they just get backed up and have to stay inside the station. And over time, if a lot of feelings are being rejected and unacknowledged and unfelt, then the station can get really crowded and it can feel almost impossible to start to sort it out because it just feels like such a mess and maybe overwhelming. Probably definitely overwhelming. But all that it requires is you to just pick a feeling and start feeling it. And let yourself do whatever each feeling needs to be released. So I think some emotions that we feel need to be spoken, either to ourselves or to a loved one or to someone that it involves. And some emotions and feelings need to be just examined in private and maybe kept to ourselves and worked through on our own. Some need to be released physically through punching, screaming, running, and then just laying and being completely still and feeling that. And others, we just need to cry. We just need to cry about it, or until it turns into laughter, maybe. But each feeling, we can trust that we know how to decipher them, and we know what each feeling is asking of us. And sometimes we just need to wait until the storm passes to decide what each feeling needs from us. Because it can be really difficult to see clearly if you're in the middle of a tough storm. So if you are in a storm, if you are in a storm of emotions or pain or suffering right now, just feeling free to have a seat, let it out, let the rain wash over you until it's over. Remembering that every storm has to run out of rain. It will. And then once you see that storm in the distance, when the sun starts to shine down on you, you can take a look at the storm from that perspective and see if there's any insights that come to you. But not worrying about analyzing everything if you're in the middle of a deep storm. I'm going to read from this book now, so you can just listen to the words and just notice how your body responds and allow whatever resonates to absorb. So, reclaiming your power is noticing when a story based on assumptions is making your mind tense, and intentionally bringing yourself back to the present moment as a way to cut the delusion. It's not about managing your emotions. It is about managing your reactions to your emotions. Our reactions tell us what our mind has internalized from our past experiences. They are dense patterns that rise from the deep subconscious to protect us. This form of defense is not based on wisdom, but on survival. When we start expanding our self-awareness, we begin to see that in moments of turbulence, we have more effective options than repeating blind behaviors, which produce limited results that generally wipe away our clarity and inner peace. We are not trying to control or manage the way we feel. We are trying to accept the shifts in our mood as the mind weaves through the large spectrum of emotions, moving from one emotion to the next, spending more time in some than others, but still traveling the whole human experience. We immediately and unconsciously react to strong emotions. Our reactions are not only strengthened by the emotion we are feeling, they imprint upon us and accumulate within the subconscious, priming us to react similarly in the future. We can manage our reactions by not by controlling what we feel, but by bringing awareness into the process. It is hard to change if you cannot see yourself. The light of awareness is especially useful when our reaction to a momentary emotion starts to undo our balance and mental clarity. Our awareness lights up the darkness and helps us to see more options and information. When we remember that emotions are impermanent, just like everything else in this universe, it becomes easier for us to stand next to the river that is the human mind and watch as things flow by. Self-awareness helps us overcome blind reactions that make already difficult situations more turbulent. Without self-awareness, it is difficult to make choices that differ from those you've made in the past. Your initial reaction is usually your past trying to impose itself on your present. Know your sources of rejuvenation. The amount of solitude you need to feel fresh again, the activities that strengthen your creativity, the people who light up your spirit. So you can just take the next few moments to check back in with the body and again, just observe what is present. Observe if there's any tension that came back in the face, in the shoulders, in the hips. And just once again, gently remind these areas that it is safe to soften. You can tune back in with your heart and just notice the rhythm of your heart that is unique to you. And notice if there's any feelings or thoughts that are becoming present in your awareness, or anything that's asking for your attention. And just allow yourself to absorb anything that you picked up on today that felt beneficial or helpful to you. And trust that you have heard everything you were meant to hear, and you are feeling everything you are meant to feel. And if it feels like something you'd like to do, at any point you can let the hands find each other. And bring the palms and fingers to make contact with one another at heart center in a prayer position. And just feel your thumbs pressing back toward your heart and your heart lifting back toward your thumbs. And as you take a deep breath in, allow yourself to fill up with this new and fresh air, the most you filled up today. And as you exhale, letting go of anything that no longer serves you as you allow your head to bow. And just bowing to the source of energy that is allowing your heart to beat, whatever that means to you. And bowing to the constant sources of guidance and inspiration around you, again, whatever that means to you. And bowing to everyone in this space who has listened and completed this practice right alongside you. And most importantly, bowing to yourself for choosing to show up today, for taking the time out of your busy schedules for this pure act of self-love and self-care. May this act continue to heal you through the rest of your days and nights. And may you bring the same love and understanding into everything that you do and to everyone that you see. Namaste.